Hi there, welcome. This is the journey to ICPMLW. My name is Emmanuel Macaulay Apemike, and of course, I'm not alone. I'm here with the delectable
Emily Agape. Good evening.
Good evening. Hey, Emily, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. And you?
I'm fine. Thank God for life. And for those who do not know what ICPMLW means, ICPMLW is the International Conference for Pastors, Ministers, Leaders, and Church Workers. And this year's ICPMLW kicks off on the 15th to 17th of April, 2021 at the Covenant's Place, right beside the National Arts Theatre, Igomu, Lagos.
Oh, yes. And registration is required to attend. Register at www.icpmlw.org/register. The conference will also be streamed live on our online platforms. You can go to Twitter at Covenant T Center, Instagram at Covenant T Center, and Facebook Covenant Christian Center. You can also stream live on Covenant Radio and our YouTube channel, The Covenant Nation.
Yes, so if you're a minister, if you're a leader, a church worker, or you have something that you do for yourself or that is into ministry or you're into ministry, you need to plan towards this year's ICPMLW. We'll be talking to a couple of guests in a bit, so don't go anywhere because we'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone. And we have here with us Mrs. Pamela Akinboboye. She is the Managing Director at Icarella Childcare Services Ltd, which she founded in 2010 with the sole mission to ensure the early years experience is better and more enjoyable for all children by supporting the adults that are engaged with their learning and development. So welcome, Mrs. Pamela.
Welcome. It's good to have you here. It's good to see your lovely face again. I mean, it's been a while. Welcome to the journey to ICPMLW.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Okay, quickly, let's just talk about you briefly. You know, what's your journey? Can you share with us your journey into ministry as, you know, a child care? What's the designation so I don't use it wrongly? I wanted to say child care person, you know, like you say creative person.
Okay, well, my background is in psychology, so you could start by calling me a psychologist, or you could just say a child care consultant.
Oh, beautiful. So welcome. Tell us your journey in ministry so far.
Well, I started as a Sunday school teacher. So I was just excited about working with children, and I joined Covenant Christian Center, I think 2008. And I think the Children's Church was one of the very first departments that I was excited to be a part of, and it has been an exciting journey so far for me. And of course, as a professional, I've been running my business since 2010, so that's about 11 years now. And I didn't consider it a ministry at that point, but at least things have changed for me now. And thanks to meetings like ICPMLW, I've begun to view my journey even as an entrepreneur as ministry as well.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
That's really amazing. I mean, because coming from a point of just doing business as usual, and then you eventually say, oh, this is ministry. So before my colleague asks the next question, I wanted to ask, so what made you begin to see what you're doing as ministry?
So it's pretty interesting. So I work closely with women who are domestic staff, and we place them as nannies in homes to be able to care for children. And a lot of them come into the industry. It's not their first choice. In fact, it's one of their last choices before they tip over to doing what they term as, you know, ungodly or out of, you know, or bad jobs. So a lot of them come in with the perspective of, this is not what I want from my life. This is not what I want to do with my life. So a lot of times they just want to coast in the job, not putting their emotions in it, or at the slightest challenge, they're ready to leave without even a structured plan of what's going to happen afterwards. They're ready to leave the employment. So from that perspective, I started to process, what could I do? How would I the only way I can make meaning of being in this industry, especially since it will always come back to tell on my integrity as a business owner, is for me to be able to bridge the gap properly and be able to invest in the caregivers properly. And so that was when I really started thinking about it as a ministry. And of course, on the other divide, for the employers, those who hire, they are influenced by a whole lot of beliefs, you know, and that would affect the way they interact with their caregivers. So it was very important for me to perceive myself as not just a bridge, but as a minister. There's a joke we have in our office where we say, as this recruitment company is concerned, we are the Holy Spirit in the relationship. And why do we say we're the Holy Spirit? Seriously, we have to say that because we are mediating for the relationship. We're mediating in the relationship. We are advocating for both parties. So if we have to advocate for the nanny or we have to advocate for the employer, we're advocating. Many times we're interceding in prayer on their behalf. So whatever prayer points that they have, we still have to pray for peace and unity. And finally, we have to guide the relationship through training and what have you. So yes, for me, the journey has just been, it's ministry. I can't even call it anything else.
That is indeed amazing.
That's great. That's great. Now let's bring it home quickly. This is ICPMLW. We all know that 2021 ICPMLW kicks off on the 15th of April, right? Now, talk about ICPMLW. Have you ever been at any of the editions? What would you say about ICPMLW generally from your perspective?
Well, ICPMLW is deep. Now, I think I was present at 2018, but I really participated at 2019. And I remember that there were a lot of things that blew my mind. Mr. Leke Alder's sessions were really, really inspiring. You know, he made mention of things. First, one of the first areas he really dealt with, which I felt he spoke directly to children church teachers as which is the department I belong to. He spoke directly to us saying, you know, you cannot cut off science from who God is. And he talked about the whole ideology of people just leaving out. Genesis 1 is just all about it, and then they just move to the light years, you know, afterwards, Genesis 2 and all of that. But he talked about the fact that God is so fascinating when you focus on creation and how to bring that, the whole aspect of science, and getting children to be able to, because that's their reality, that's what they're experiencing the world, they're experiencing science, they have stuff to learn in school, and they have questions. And so we cannot just tell them that this is, you know, this is not real, this has nothing to do with God, this has nothing to do with Sunday school. We have to bring even science and God into the Sunday school. So that struck me, that struck me seriously. Another point that he did mention was the fact that he said that the devil is our opposition, and he saw it more in the political light. And that literally repaired my mind, because I wasn't prepared for the fact that I was an opposition to the devil with regards to the work that I do. At the end of the day, my eyes were open to see that the devil sees me as an opposition because I am ministering to the people that I give jobs to and to the people that my candidates have. And so I had to, my eyes cleared literally, because I had to start doing battle differently. I couldn't look at every challenge that came through to my business as just physical. What's the strategy out of it? I had to start thinking spiritual. And so that actually transformed me. The 2019 experience, especially with Mr. Leke Alder and a whole lot of other teachers, really did transform me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Pamela. So what effects do you think that programs such as ICPMLW has on upcoming ministers? So what effects
So I believe that ICPMLW is special because it doesn't only talk to the minister in the church, it also talks to that minister in the workplace. And for me, that's actually important, because this event is not, as far as I'm concerned, this event is not just for people that work in church ministry, but people that also are perceiving their businesses as an altar that they want to use to worship God. So it's very important that if people view their business that way, then they should begin to think of themselves as ministers. And so whatever demography you belong to, whether you are an employee or whether you are an employer of labor, you should be considering listening in on or participating physically in the ICPMLW event. Also, the Great Commission, Matthew 28, yes, Matthew 28, it's not particularly for only ministers in the church. It speaks to everyone. Go ye therefore and preach the good news, and God will be with you. So I believe it's for everyone, and it's very important. Yes, everyone gets.
That's really amazing, because I like when she said that it's like raising an altar in your workplace, and that ICPMLW would also cater for those that are in workplace. Well, because for so long, Mr. Emmanuel, so many people just thought that ministry is just church, and so they did not take what they learned in church to the
workplace or to the society of their everyday life.
It almost felt like Christians were not as effective in the workplace as they were in church. So I really agree with you, and I'm glad that you have said that what we would learn at ICPMLW, we would be able to use on our various mountains of influence, because this is what many Christians need to know, and just stop this church mentality and just think that all that they are is what they could be in the church.
Only when you get to church.
God wants us to take Jesus out there into the street. So that's really amazing to hear that that's something that we can achieve at ICPMLW. That's great. Over to you, Mr. Emmanuel.
It's literally, bridging the gap. Do you understand? Some people, like you said, separates that life. Oh, when I'm in church, I'm someone else. When I'm at the work, or when I'm with my friends, my colleagues at the office, I'm some other person. I think it's high time we understand that in our everyday life, we have to exhibits that character, that church character, if you like, right? In our everyday lives, and just carry that Great Commission, that preaching the gospel with everything that we do, how we live our lives, how we deliver our tasks, at the office and all of that. Thank you so much, Pamela, for talking with us. It has been amazing. And I think right now we'll just let you go to your, your other job. Thank you so much for finding the time to hang out.
Thank you. We're really glad to have you. Thank you.
Have a lovely.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this session with our guests on the journey to ICPMLW. Do not forget that this event takes place at the Covenant Nation Igomo, right beside the National Arts Theatre, on the 15th to 17th of April, 2021.
Yes, and the time is 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and registration is required. Just head to www.icpmlw.org/register to begin. The conference will also be live on all our online platforms. Follow us at Facebook at ICPMLW, Twitter at ICPMLW, and on Instagram at ICPMLW_. You can also listen via Covenant Radio at www.insightsforliving.org/Covenant Radio, and on YouTube, The Covenant Nation. Now, ICPMLW is going to be mind-blowing, and I am looking forward to attending. I'm sure Emily is as well. And you need
I am. After interviewing the guests, I am definitely pumped up and looking forward to it. So yes.
So we are looking forward to hosting you at this year's ICPMLW. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that on the 15th to 17th of April, ICPMLW will be holding, and you don't want to miss it. God bless you. From me, it's a bye-bye. Emily.
Yes. And see you there. Bye.
See you there. Bye.